So as someone who is incredibly successful in business, you have one of the most popular maternity lines in the country. What made you decide not to send your kids to traditional school?
Good question. So I really felt like there was so many things lacking from traditional school. Life skills, like how to invest your money, taxes, emotional intelligence, how to build relationships. I just wanted my kids to go to a place where they could really understand the way that the world works.
Welcome to the Future of Education podcast, hosted by Mackenzie Price. Mackenzie is the founder of a revolutionary new school model that's disrupting education through AI. Join us as we discuss the latest in education innovation.
Kids can learn a language when they're kids easier than when they're adults. So why not throw them into that immediately?
Yeah.
And then also my sister homeschools. I have a lot of people around me that homeschool.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I feel like if Gary and I weren't so creative and, entrepreneurs in our own right, we would probably have taken that path. So it wasn't really an option for us,
Nicole, you are so busy running your business. Your husband is busy with his career, but you're also incredibly dedicated parents. And how do you balance making that time for your 3 kids while juggling everything you're doing professionally?
Yeah, so I feel like I wouldn't be a good homeschooling mom because I'm not a good teacher.
Okay.
In terms of I don't have patience for, if a kid is not focused, I'm not the one to be there. I'm very grateful for the teachers. I'm grateful.
Hey,
I'm sure a lot of parents.
There's a reason I started a school instead of homeschooling my own kids because I was like, how about let the experts do that in school? I'll just help with the other stuff.
Yeah, I definitely homeschooling was to even think of being having a homeschool as an option was terrifying to me. Because I don't think that teaching my kids, I think they would probably end up hating me. If they're out of school, when we're on tour with Gary, they, my daughters love coming to work with me. My son, for the summer, he doesn't want to go to summer camp. Do you know what he wants to do?
What does he do?
He wants to come and work at Bumpsuit, and he wants to do the budgeting.
Oh, that's
the
incredible.
Bookkeeping.
Really?
Yes, he wants to do the bookkeeping. He wants to categorize all of the expenses throughout the day. And also we sell an Armadillo baby carrier and it has a business reply mail. So people send in their BRMs. Obviously, we'll check everything, but he wants to log them and register them in our system. So he would literally take the BRM and then log everything.
So it really is a family business.
Yeah, I just think it's cool that he's interested in that,
That's very cool.
And I think that just being a part of a system, you have your goals, you get to go to the Emporium and shop. You get to go to Mobile Squad. That's really creating an ecosystem of how the world works. So the kids are like, well, why can't I do this? And I'm like, well, let's try it. We'll set up a system for you to be the mini accountant. Obviously we're not going to take his word. Well, maybe we will.
Maybe you will. Yeah, who knows? Our kids are doing pretty incredible things, right? Building businesses. So it's definitely not out of line that he could be doing that too.
Yeah.
Do you have any budding musicians in this group of kids?
I feel like the girls.
Really?
I feel like the girls are going to be, I feel like Ella might be a pop star.
Really?
I think Ella's my little pop star. She's a really good singer already and she's an incredible dancer.
Oh, really?
Zion, I think he would be he's so into beats, beat making.
Very cool.
They all play the piano, but I haven't seen a lot of passion with the music thing. I think it's too familiar right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Do you have any music background yourself?
I do.
Really? What are you?
My dad was a bass player in a band.
Really?
So I used to go on his little tour with him, little tiny tour. But yeah, I started playing guitar, piano, and then writing.
Did your dad get to meet
before I met Gary? And then I was like, I'm never doing that ever again. I won't embarrass him. I quit as soon as I met him. I was like, he's way too talented. Way too talented.
Well, I'm telling you, don't be intimidated. You could probably, who knows, maybe you guys will start a family band.
Maybe
the next
in another life.
Von Trops.
I go bright red when I I'm like, if he's out of the house, then I can jump on the piano, you know?
Very cool. Very cool.
When we first met, I had a Steinway in my apartment.
Uh-huh.
And he came in and he was like, oh, that's cool. I don't really play piano. And I was like, okay. And then he sat down and just like played this incredible like jazz, organic, whatever. And I was like, I am never touching that ever again. Never. He's just one of those really gifted people.
That's actually a really interesting thing to bring up is, I mean, he is a musical genius. He's a savant.
Yes.
And I think that's something that's really important to nurture in our children when we see that kind of flame ignite, right? We have to provide them with an environment that allows them to really pursue that.
Definitely.
So I'm sure that's something that you guys have been extra paying attention to when it comes to your kids, right?
Yeah, it's so hard because I have really high expectations, like as a mom, and really high standards. And sometimes I hate that I have that because I'm putting the kids in so many different extracurricular just to see what they really like are drawn to. Gary's a little bit more relaxed about it, you know. So we're very different in that sense, which I think is a good balance. Because if we were both like that, it would be too much.
Right.
But yeah, I haven't really, like, Zion loves gaming, and I know you guys have a gaming school, which I'm really curious about. I don't know if it's a stage or if we should really lean into it. He really wants a YouTube channel. He wants to have people watch him game.
Well, Nicole, one of the big things that one of the philosophies that we really support at our school is the idea of being a creator and a contributor, not just a consumer. And I think video games is a perfect example. You know, I think video games get such a bad rap because it's like, oh, kids are just sitting there on a screen playing a game all the time. And what we're doing at one of the schools that we have, and we do this across all of our schools, is help kids figure out how can they create content. So how can they build a video game? How can they develop their public speaking skills by doing a YouTube channel where they're speaking or they're sharing their knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And I actually think that the best thing to do is find the interest that a kid has and then lean into that to help them develop life skills, right?
Yeah.
Because I think as adults, you and I are, I think, cut from the same cloth in that we do have high expectations for our kids. But where a lot of parents, I think, can go wrong is when they try to exert their expectations around what they believe their children should do, as opposed to figuring out what do their children love and how can we help them, you know, really achieve great things within that space. So that's really interesting that he's interested in gaming, and I love that you're thinking about those things.
Yeah, and so I am like a non-technology person. I'm like, no technology in my house, but I need to get with you about it because, you know, I know you guys have a gaming school. I want to set him up for success. So if we have to build this gaming console situation, I can see it being really successful online because he's such a sweet kid and he's friends with a lot of kids. So kids watching him game might be good. But I also come from this school of thought, which is, you know, we have an idea and we can it could either impact us individually, our partner, our family, our group, our community, or the world. So if you think about it like that and work backwards, it's like, how can your idea be a vessel to change the world? So maybe we could impart to him, okay, you want to be a gamer. Mr. Beast does it like kind of, I don't know if he had this philosophy from when he started, but he really changes people's lives and he's impacting the world, right?
Yeah.
Through this platform. And I think if Zion came to me and was like, and really thought about it, like, I really have this passion, but how am I going to take it just away from just myself as an individual? And how can I use this to impact the world? Because if your goal is that big, it's easier to kind of like get there.
Yeah.
But if your goal is just for your self-entertainment, it's going to be quite static, I think.
Sure, absolutely.
But yeah, it's something that I'm definitely thinking about right now. It's a big, bold move because you're putting your kid out into the world.
Yeah.
Which is really hard as a parent. And I want to make sure that they are making that decision consciously, which is really hard because they're kids.
Yeah.
They don't really know everything about, or maybe they do. It's hard because you don't want to discount a child and
Well,
their belief system.
one of the things that I've done on Future of Education is I've had some of our students come in and do interviews, and I always talk to their parents beforehand to make sure that that's okay. And I've very much appreciated the culture that we have within our school community, which parents will say, well, let's always talk to the kid to see if this is something they're interested in. Let's think about how we're helping them develop life skills, public speaking, being able to interview, having improv, all of that. And then let's talk about what this means that, they're going to be on film and something they say is going to go out, to the world, and be thoughtful about those things. But I think that there's actually a really beautiful way of helping our students develop those life skills. Self-driven students, that's what we're really creating, self-driven learners.
It's unbelievable.
Yes, absolutely.
You can find the resources.
Exactly.
You've got this.
Because kids are limitless.
Yeah,
right?
wow.
Thanks for listening to Mackenzie Price and the Future of Education podcast. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, now is the time to do it so you can stay up to date on all our episodes. You can connect with Mackenzie on social media and be part of our daily conversation over on Instagram at futureof_education. For more info about the show and our guests, you can always visit futureofeducationpod.com. Lastly, if you're loving what you're learning, please leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be back in your feed soon, but until then, remember, kids are limitless, and it's our job to unlock their potential.